Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. Winter weather in the city can be a huge pain. Traffic slows down, schedules get messed up. But winter weather in your own Smoky Mountain cabin? Well, that's beautiful. That's relaxing. It's funny how that flips on you. So book your winter stay in the Smokies this week. Visit ParksideCabinRentals.com. Pick out the perfect cabin for you and whoever you want to head up there with. I guarantee you're going to have a big time, and whenever you go into downtown Gatlinburg, you get free parking. Thanks to Parkside Cabin Rentals, ParksideCabinRentals.com to book your stay today. All right, I want to toss out some statistics in this segment. We've partnered with a new group to provide some pretty in-depth analytics. It gives us a different way to look at the team, a different way to look at players, interesting stuff, but I want to throw it out. We'll let Vince and Jimmy respond to it, of course, but I also want to know if Mark sees this and goes, wow, this is surprising, or if he says, this is useless. So you tell us. Let's take a look at the first one here. Assist Kings. What you see on this breakdown is the green number on the right shows you what percentile in the country Tennessee is performing at. The deeper the green, the better. The higher the number, the better. In terms of assists, you're in the 90th percentile in terms of assists on points in the paint. 83rd percentile for mid-range twos. Assists above the break threes, 78. Corner threes, 100% of your corner threes are assisted, obviously. But you look at those numbers, that's a pretty amazing stat. And we didn't mention that first segment that Tennessee had 21 assists versus Illinois yesterday. Mark, does this tell us anything about Tennessee's ball movement?
Well, yeah. I mean, when we're playing well, we're moving the basketball, and obviously, so to get an assist, you got to be making shots. And so, our assists, when we're getting a lot of assists, those are typically games that we're playing best because of our ball movement.
Anything to add in about the assists for Tennessee?
No, I like it. I think there's a correlation between how effective your offense is with the percentage of assists to field goals made. I also think you're setting up typically an open shot, typically, not always, but most of the time. The other part of that, too, I'd be interested to see when Tennessee has a bad assist-to-turnover ratio, what's their shooting percentage? I bet it's not very good. It's not 45%.
Yeah.
I think it's driving to the basket and getting there and being a threat to score in the rim, which I think opens up more and better threes, whether it's in the corner or outside. I think that's the key for them, and they played that way much more yesterday.
All right, now let's take a look at some individuals. I thought this was interesting. Now, what you get here, Zakai Zeigler on and off the court. We can get that. There we go. What you're seeing here, I'll explain it. You don't have to read that. I just put it up there so you know that the math is there, so I'm not just making this up. But what it tells you is Tennessee shoots worse when he's off the floor. Okay, that makes sense. They're worse when he's off. So that's green. That's good. That means you're contributing to their offense. But the opponent shoots worse when he's off the floor. That surprises me. I thought defensively he would have a better impact. Now, this is through 8 games. This doesn't count yesterday's game. So that could change. But that one surprises me a little bit. I would expect when he's off the floor, the other team shoots better, not worse. Silence tells me no, everyone wants to move on.
It might be Jemai Mashak, maybe getting some of those opposite minutes for him. And he does a pretty good job as one of their better perimeter defenders.
All right, let's take a look at go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was hesitating because I thought Mark was going to be the first to respond. Sorry about that.
I was processing. I think that for me, obviously Zeigler. Sometimes stats should just be misleading. We know that Zakai is a really good defender. I do think Mashak, him coming in, adds to because there's a little bit better switching opportunity when Mashak can switch on and guard guys in the post or guard guys. His size can be a difference. But to me, Zeigler's still going to be on the floor because he is one of our best defenders.
So here's an example, too. He makes a midcourt steal that leads to a dunk on the other end. There wasn't a shot attempt by the other team.
Yeah, but this just shows your overall.
Right. I guess, so what I'm saying is he can make a defensive impact anyway, even though the percentage for the other team might be higher.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not doing this in the hopes of convincing people, oh, this guy shouldn't be on the court. We're 8 games in. I just think it's an interesting way. Let's figure out why we're seeing these numbers, if there's a way to figure them out. But let's take a look at the next one, Santiago Vescovi. His numbers are worse than Zakai Zeigler's. UT shoots better when he is off the floor. They go from 42% with him on to 46% with him off. And the opponent goes from 42% with him on the court to just 35% with him off.
Yeah.
Mark.
Well, I think the offensive side for Tennessee is just because he's shooting so poorly. Outside of yesterday, I think he was shooting maybe 25, 30% from the field. And so the fact that he's just shooting at a poor clip is going to affect Tennessee's offense.
The defensive stat kind of threw me again, but again, that could just be. We'll see where that stands in 8 more games and 15 games, et cetera. All right, Jonas Aidoo. Let's see what he's doing. All right, now here, he is much better on offense. You're getting points in the paint, obviously, but 46.8 when he's on the court. As a team, you're shooting 39.5 when he's off the court. So you get worse when he leaves the court. Defensively, though, it's the opposite. Once again, any thoughts on Jonas Aidoo and those numbers? They mean anything to anybody or no?
He leads the team in block shots. I think of him as a pretty decent defensive player. Those numbers surprised me, kind of like the Zeigler numbers surprised me too. So I don't know that I put stock in making a comment, well, that means Aidoo is not a very good defensive player. I don't buy that. I think that he is. I do find it interesting that that number is the way that it is.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just you take him out and the other combination of 5 is just better than this combination with 5.
When we need Tobet back, because for a lot of these 8 games, you've had Triple J's had to come down, Josiah's had to come down and play at the post position, or you had JP as your backup post with Tobet being injured for a couple of those games.
I think sometimes it depends on how the game is going. Yesterday, I thought it was Awaka and Meshack in those minutes in the second half when they went on that 10-0 run. I thought Barnes saw it as a rebounding and defense game, and so Aidoo wasn't on the floor initially. It was Awaka on the floor with Meshack. I thought those two guys were big in turning it around. So it just depends on how the game is playing out for some of those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things we may do with this down the road is we can look at it in terms of 2-man combos as well. When is Tennessee better with which pairings are better, et cetera. So this is going to be interesting as we go along. But let me ask you this before we put up the next graphic. Of Tennessee's top 7, 8 guys in the rotation in minutes, there was only one who improves their defense and improves their offense. In other words, Tennessee, when he's on the floor, Tennessee's shooting percentage goes up. When he's on the floor, the opponent's shooting percentage goes down. Do you want to take a guess who that one person is?
Meshack.
No.
Dalton Connect.
Josiah.
Let's go to Josiah Jordan James. So when he is on the court, Tennessee shoots 44%, 41 when he's off. The opponent shoots 39 when he's on, 41 when he's off. So it's not a huge change, but he's the only one there so far. So and you know, for those people who think, well, Josiah Jordan James has always kind of been he's just a guy. He wasn't ever the 5-star he was supposed to be. Yeah, if you dig inside the numbers, he is having an interesting impact. Whether or not we completely buy into these numbers or not, it's a different question. But it's one way of looking at it. Any thoughts?
When you've got experience like that, you can overcome some other guys' mistakes or guys out of position. Josiah's ability to read defense, play defensively, switch, make sure, and then offensively, he's shooting the ball better, and he can post up. So it's not a surprise.
Josiah buys into those numbers, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Rick Barnes talks about fix-it plays all the time. He can bring you the fix-it plays even if they don't show up in the box score.
All right, and before we go to break here, let me remind you, what is most important to you this holiday season? Keep clicking for us. Looks like about, well, let me read this other monitor over here. I'll just walk around. That looks good on TV. 57% for basketball. 38% of you are interested in transfer portal. Only 5% are interested in the Citrus Bowl. I'm a little surprised by that. Basketball, portal, Citrus Bowl. Keep voting and tell us what you think. When we come back, what are we doing? We'll do something. We're going to do a preview of Tennessee's upcoming week. Georgia Southern, NC State. We get the Pancrat Scouting Report next. Come on back.